I moved to Green Lake Pines to escape the noise. After 2 decades of working federal narcotics cases across 3 states, I was ready for stillness, for cracked porch steps and lazy Sunday mornings. My house was modest single story, big oak in the front, and a driveway that sloped like it was always relaxing too. Neighbors waved when I first arrived. Some even brought casseroles. I thought I'd finally found peace. That illusion shattered 6 weeks in. It was a Thursday. I remember because I was still in sweatpants, coffee barely brewed, when a pounding, not knocking, pounding rattled my front door. I reached for my holster on instinct before remembering I hadn't worn it since retirement. Outside were 2 people in matching navy jackets, the kind you'd see mall security wear. Their badges looked like something printed at home. On the back of their coats, GCCA Code Enforcement. Below that, Glen Cove Civic Authority. I'd never heard of it. "We're here for a compliance check," the man said. Stiff posture, crew cut, maybe 40s. The woman beside him said nothing, just held up a clipboard like it was a holy relic. "On whose authority?" I asked. "This neighborhood is under GCCA jurisdiction." "You signed the agreement when you moved in," she said. "No, I didn't." I said, steady. "And even if I had, this isn't how compliance works." That's when she appeared, Lucinda Grant, blonde bob, pink cashmere sweater, clipboard hugged to her chest like a baby. She walked up the path with the confidence of someone who'd never been told no in her life. "You've been warned, Mr. Cole," she said sweetly. "The Civic Authority voted to deputize our enforcement team last month." I looked her in the eye. "I'm a former federal agent. If these 2 step onto my property without a warrant, that's trespassing. Don't test me." Lucinda's smile didn't even twitch. "Then you should understand the seriousness of this." She wasn't backing off. She was doubling down. And I realized this wasn't enforcement. It was a performance. By Monday, a citation was taped to my door. Violation, unauthorized, equipment storage, $300 fine or removal in 48 hours. It was about my trailer, the one I used to haul emergency gear and disaster kits. Gear I'd used on task force missions. I crumpled it, tossed it. That was my first mistake. By Wednesday, 3 more citations. Noise violation engine. Start before 7 a.m. Improper lawn edging. Unapproved signage. The flag I flew on my porch. The notes were handwritten, all caps. Passive-aggressive repeat infractions will be escalated to the civic panel. My neighbors stopped waving. The elderly couple across the street, who'd once offered lemon bars, now shut their curtains when I walked by. Yard signs began appearing overnight. "We support GCCA enforcement." The whispers started next. I approached a neighbor to explain. He closed the door mid-sentence. "We've been told you're hostile," he said. Hostile. I'd spent my entire career protecting people from those who abused power. And now I was being painted as the threat. Emails I sent to the county about the citations never got replies. A call to the number on the citation sheet connected to a voicemail that looped endlessly. Then came the SUV. Black. Unmarked. Parked across the street every night. Lights off. Engine idling. Always facing my house. Lucinda didn't need handcuffs. She had compliance signs and community fear. And slowly, she was turning me into the villain of my own street. When the Federal Bureau called me in, I expected backup. What I got was a junior assistant escorting me into an empty room and a formal misconduct review. Intimidation, abuse of authority, threats. The woman from Internal Affairs listed monotone. "I'm retired," I said. "And this is all fabricated. There's no legitimate HOA here. I've submitted complaints, documents, photos." She frowned. "Our servers have no record of any of those emails. Tampering. They were scrubbing evidence." She stared at me a long moment before saying, "You're being placed on conditional leave, effective immediately." I left the office hollow. No badge, no service weapon, just a storm sitting in my chest. That night, a single porch light was on Tamara's. She'd once given me cookies and a smile. I knocked. She opened the door a sliver, pale and trembling. Then she pulled me inside. On her coffee table was a thick folder labeled Glen Cove Civic Association Original Charter and Bylaws. I kept the old files. She said, before Lucinda got her claws in. I opened it. Inside newsletters, actual votes, proof that the real association had disbanded 8 years ago. Lucinda's version, never reformed, never voted, in total fiction. She asked me to sign off on her enforcement team last year. Tamara said. When I refused, she started targeting me. She threatened my job, my dog. She picked me on purpose, I murmured. Tamara nodded. You were the only one strong enough to fight back. I called Alvarez the next morning. Detective Lee Alvarez didn't play games. He owed me a favor. Within an hour, I was in his precinct, laying everything out folder, photos, fake citations, even the SUV. He ran the plate, registered to a shell company. He muttered, out of Georgia. No license to operate in this state. They're ghosts, I said. Illegal ones. He nodded. If I get one more resident willing to talk, I can open a formal case. You've got Tamara. That night, a flyer slid under my door. Community meeting mandatory attendance. It was a trap. I texted Alvarez going in. Be ready. He replied instantly. Body cam on. I'm nearby. I arrived early. Folding chairs, a podium, and a banner reading Order, Pride, Community. Lucinda stood up front, 2 fake officers at her side. We've had reports of hostile behavior, she began, eyes locking on mine. Mr. Cole has resisted our efforts at order. I stood up. Enough. Every head turned. You want truth? Let's give it to them. I marched to the front. Phone recording. Dropped Tamara's folder on the podium. This is your scam, I said. A fake authority with no charter, no legality, and a private company doing the dirty work. Gasps. Whispers. Lucinda moved to take the mic. I raised my old badge. Still mine. Still valid. A man in front stood. You said the city approved this. Another? I paid you $500 last month. Then boom, the front doors opened. Alvarez walked in. 2 deputies behind him. Miss Grant, he said, voice booming. You'll need to come with us. Lucinda's eyes went wide. You don't know who my brother is. Alvarez didn't blink. We don't care. The cuffs clicked. The room erupted. Applause. Relief. Justice. I didn't bask in it. I just exhaled for the first time in weeks. In the days that followed, the black SUV vanished. The fake signs came down. Neighbors started waving again. Tamara was appointed communications chair of the new, legally reformed association. Me, I kept it quiet. No speeches, no victory lap, just a porch, a hot cup of coffee. Peace. Lucinda built her empire on silence and fear. All it took was one person who refused to stay quiet. Sometimes that's all it takes.